they should give me the Nobel Prize for Rwanda, and if you look, the Congo, or you could say Serbia, Kosovo, you could say a lot of them. You could say, I mean, the big one is India and Pakistan. I should have gotten it 4 or 5 times. I should get it for the, I would think the Abraham Accords would be a good one too. But what do you They won't give me a Nobel Peace Prize because they only give it to liberals.
Well, guys, hope you're fine, hope you're good. Welcome back to my channel, Yano Show. Okay, hope you're fine, hope you're good. So, guys, I just want to give a appreciation for the new subscribers and the people that are subscribing me. So, I could have not this far without you. So, this is an interesting story that was early on to, one day before. We see that Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel nominates Donald Trump, the president of USA, for the Nobel Peace Prize. And we've seen that the reaction of Donald Trump through that nomination. We've seen that some Americans reacting on it. We've seen that people reacting on this nomination. So I don't know, what is your take now? Is Trump in the position to win the Nobel Prize winner, or what is your thing? Let us meet there in the comment section. Let us hear your views. But for now, there is a commentary of this what's going on between when Trump was nominated for the prize.
I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much.
They should give me the Nobel Prize for Rwanda, and if you look, the Congo, or you could say Serbia, Kosovo, you could say a lot of them. You could say, I mean, the big one is India and Pakistan. I should have gotten it 4 or 5 times. I should get it for the, I would think the Abraham Accords would be a good one too. But what do you They won't give me a Nobel Peace Prize because they only give it to liberals.
Donald Trump really wants the Nobel Peace Prize, and my worry is, if they don't give it to him, he's going to bomb Norway.
Excusez-moi de dire que malheureusement je ne suis pas spécialiste, je ne connais pas comment se passe des choses pour le prix Nobel de la paix. Mais je peux garantir que la Mauritanie ne se présentera jamais pour s'opposer à ce que le président Trump soit le détenteur de ce prix-là.
Il le mérite, ce prix Nobel. C'est mon avis.
Hey everybody, so Donald Trump has put an end to his 4th war, and he's done all 4 of these within the last 90 days. You got obviously Israel and Iran, then you got Pakistan, India, then you have the Congo and Rwanda, which a lot of people probably don't know about that one, but that happened within the last week. And then now you have a ceasefire deal between Israel and Gaza, and here coming soon, I bet you're going to end up with number 5, which is going to be Ukraine and Russia. Trump is going to figure that one out, so just stay tuned. I bet he will figure something out for that one. This is some great stuff. Trump is on another level. He's doing things that no president will ever do and has never done before. He will go down as one of the greatest presidents of all time. He deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. He deserved it whenever the whole Israel-Iran thing happened. He deserved it then. He deserves it now. Give this man that Peace Prize. He is the Peace President, regardless if you love him or if you hate him. He's the Peace President, and he's bringing peace and stability to the world. Give this man his flowers.
Last night we had the remarkable dinner in the White House where Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, presents across the table, a bit like Keir Starmer with his letter for the King, presents to Donald Trump the letter that he, Netanyahu, an indicted alleged war criminal, says, this is the letter I've written to the Nobel Peace Prize Committee nominating you, Mr. President, for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Donald Trump has bent the world to turn international leaders into a cringing court of obsequious people kneeling at his feet, flattering him in the most monstrous way.
But the thing that both Trump and Netanyahu are very, very good at is deflection and distraction. A few days ago, Donald Trump was saying there will be a ceasefire within days. And of course, what he was trying to do was engineer it so that when Netanyahu got to the White House, it's his 3rd visit since Trump's 2nd term began, that there would be a great ceasefire. Well, there is no ceasefire, little sign of a ceasefire. In fact, the overnight news actually is this frankly insane plan to put 600,000 Palestinians into the ruins of Rafah and during a 60-day ceasefire, which doesn't yet exist, build what they're calling a humanitarian city. Only catch future residents of the humanitarian city. Once you're in, you're not allowed out.
Yeah.
I don't know how you describe that.
Yes, well, how do you describe something that you can't leave?
Normally you describe it as a prison camp.
Is Netanyahu really the best arbiter of who should be getting a peace prize? Is this not like Jeffrey Epstein nominating somebody for protecting women from sexual abuse? This is a man who has an active arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court for war crimes and crimes against humanity and is presently using starvation as a weapon of war. A man who presented in September of 2023 a map to the UN of the New Middle East, completely eliminating a Palestinian state. The same man who attacked Iran right in the middle of negotiations. But Trump's biggest problem getting a Nobel Peace Prize is his own actions, not Netanyahu or politics. He's backed out of climate initiatives. He's supported Russia at the expense of Ukraine. He's supporting Israel as they commit genocide. He's called for the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians so that he can build a resort in Gaza. He's cut off almost all U.S. foreign aid. He's indefinitely banned refugees, and he's denied people due process, sending them to both domestic and foreign concentration camps. And he's sending asylum seekers back to potentially dangerous situations, and in doing all of this, potentially violating multiple international treaties, including the UN Convention on the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearances, the Protocol on the Status of Refugees, and the UN Convention Against Torture, specifically the principle of non-refoulement.
What is also clear is that Trump has no economic theory behind what he's doing. And I think that's most disturbing, both to me as an economist and to those who are on the other side of negotiations. I've talked to some of these people and they say, you know, we don't know how to negotiate because the other side is not a normal negotiator. You know, normally the other side knows what they want. There's a theory about how trade works. That's not true here. It's a different world. So let me give you an example. Trump thinks that trade deficits by themselves, and in particular trade deficits in goods, reflect somebody treating us unfairly. And it's based sort of on a premise that we are better than any other country, so people should be buying more goods from us than we are buying from them. But we are in the 21st century, not where we were in 1950. Services are the major part of our economy. Goods production, manufacturing is 9-10%. What are important? Service sector, tourism, education, health. What is he doing to those sectors? Look what he's done in the last few weeks. He's devastated our education system. The way his immigration people have treated those wanting to come into our country with valid passports, visas, has discouraged tourism. So he is hell-bent at hurting America's major export industry, tourism, and education. I've talked to firms that have thought about bringing manufacturing back to the United States. They say we don't have the logistics, we don't have the supply chains that you need to bring complex manufacturing back. And modern manufacturing is robotic. So even if we brought manufacturing back, there are not going to be many jobs. So the reality is that his picture of bringing us back to the 1950s, that's never going to happen. But what's going to happen in the meanwhile? We're not going to be able to get those goods that Americans want.
Is Netanyahu really the best arbiter of who should be getting a peace prize? Is this not like Jeffrey Epstein nominating somebody for protecting women from sexual abuse? This is a man who has an active arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court for war crimes and crimes against humanity and is presently using starvation as a weapon of war. A man who presented in September of 2023 a map to the UN of the New Middle East, completely eliminating a Palestinian state. The same man who attacked Iran right in the middle of negotiations. But Trump's biggest problem getting a Nobel Peace Prize is his own actions, not Netanyahu or politics. He's backed out of climate initiatives. He's supported Russia at the expense of Ukraine.
So rather than World War III, we may get more peace. And rather than 34 felony counts, President Trump may end up with 34 Nobel Peace Prizes. That was for the leftists. You can clip this and make it go viral and go nuts.
a U.S. congressman today sent a letter to nominate President Trump Nobel Peace Prize. What is your opinion?
Well, first, I think that President Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. I think we should thank him for his leadership, for the brave decision he took, and to recognize the effort of the United States.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump is now asking others to give him the Nobel Peace Prize, saying that he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for all the...
Okay, so this is like Planned Parenthood giving you an award for the best pro-life person ever. Are you going to be proud? I don't think so.
You may have seen posts like this one going around from Fox News saying that Trump's been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Trump reposted it on his Truth Social. And while this is true, Trump has been nominated, follow along. I will show you why this means absolutely nothing. So first, let's search how to get nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, and I'm going to go straight to the nobelprize.org. And immediately we see anyone who can nominate is able to put forward a name, and the people who can nominate, you can pause to read the whole list, but it includes members of national assemblies, governments, and international courts of law. So if we go back to that Fox News article, we can see that Trump was nominated by a Republican member of the House of Representatives who said that he nominated Trump for his extraordinary and historic role in ending the armed conflict between Israel and Iran. And you might be like, okay, but it's still pretty cool he was nominated. Let's go back to that Nobel Prize page. Any person or organization can be nominated. To simply be nominated is therefore not an endorsement or an extended honor to imply affiliation with the Nobel Peace Prize or its related institution. So they're saying anyone can be nominated, so a nomination means nothing. If you fit one of these criteria, you can nominate anyone, your neighbor, your brother, your friend. But let's also look at the substance of the nomination. He's being nominated for ending the armed conflict between Israel and Iran. And let me tell you, Trump would really like you to believe that that is true. Now that we've made peace abroad, we must finish the job at home. No one in history has engineered such an overwhelming military victory, followed up almost immediately by a cessation of hostilities. Both Israel and Iran wanted to stop the war, and it was my great honor to stop the war. But, what is this? After the ceasefire was already in effect, I really encourage you to read these. They're a wild time. Explosions are ringing out. Both sides have violated the ceasefire. So now instead, all of his posts are filled with things about immigration and this. But he is just still going on claiming victory and claiming that he has solved the crisis in the Middle East. And that has always been the thing with Trump. He seems to believe that if he says something enough, that makes it true, or that will trick you into believing him. And he knows that headlines have power, and that most people who are only peripherally paying attention will see headlines like this one and be like, oh, I guess he did a great job. He's being nominated for a Nobel Prize over it. But the tricky thing about a ceasefire is that fire needs to have ceased for an extended period of time. You can't say, I brokered a ceasefire, give me a Nobel Prize, I'm amazing, I created peace, look at me. And that's exactly what he's hoping you will think when you see headlines like this. So as always, do your own research and say no to clickbait.
Well, it finally happened. Donald Trump has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And who made that dream come true? Benjamin Netanyahu. Because obviously nothing says peace quite like mass surveillance, deportation squads, and constitutional crisis or two. You've got one man rewriting democracy into a monarchy, and the other redefining restraint with a very loose interpretation of international law. But hey, if you squint hard enough, even regime does look like order a little. At this point, the Nobel Peace Prize is just the political equivalent of a 5-star Uber rating from your getaway driver.
Donald Trump has to be furious right now. The senior Ukrainian lawmaker Mirazeko, who had nominated Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize, has just withdrawn it because he said he has lost any faith and belief in President Trump to create a ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia. I have a feeling he's never going to catch up to Barack Obama. How about you?
We have some news right now. Republican Congressman from Georgia, Buddy Carter, who is seeking a Senate run against Democrat Jon Ossoff, has filed a letter or signed a letter endorsing Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. His reasoning surrounds Donald Trump's work regarding Iran and Israel. Now, a couple things to note. Number one, this letter isn't going to get Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. Buddy Carter is doing this because he is seeking Donald Trump's endorsement in the Senate race. And he already got applause from the Trump War Room this morning online for essentially nominating Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Number two, at a time where Buddy Carter is nominating Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, a new CNN report shows that 56% of Americans actually disapproved of Donald Trump's decisions to launch strikes in Iran, including many folks within the Republican Party who believe that that is far from the quote-unquote America First mantra that Donald Trump and his team ran on back in the 2024 presidential election. So no, this isn't going to get Trump the Nobel Peace Prize, but this is another example of a Republican member of Congress seeking Trump's endorsement by doing something nice for him. So we'll see what happens next. Spread the word and follow along for all the news you need to know about.